going on? So, I'm gonna mess with my pole saw. It's kind of having issues, and I think I know why. So, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll get into maybe during it. I can do this week. You know what's been going on. It's been. I've got some fun ones for this week, some newer ones and stuff, which should be kind of interesting. We'll kind of introduce them in, and we'll try to mix it up. But yeah, I got some fun content to go over from this week. What's up, Ground Pounder? Oh, there it is. That's weird. Come here. That's so stupid. I think I did. Whatever. Alright. So I got a little trick. Most trick, guys. Joseph, what's up, brother? So most tree guys, or even landscaping guys, lawn guys, y'all got pole saws. Everybody got a pole saw. And a lot of times, when you got a pole saw, it's hanging out the back of the truck. And when you're hanging it out the back of the truck, let's see if I can do this without knocking the camera over. You don't want to hang the motor out the back of the truck. I mean, why would you do that? And they're always a little longer in the bed. So what happens? So much chaos I cause right now. So what happens is they're also too long to be trying to show on a live feed for YouTube. But what happens? You end up putting this end out the back of the truck. So here's a little trick, because you'll always lose your scabbards. So this one here, I can turn it sideways to show you on the side. So you lose your scabbard every time as you're going down the road. This catches wind and flies off. Well, mine doesn't anymore because I got this little zip tie. So almost every bar has a little hole in it. So what I do is I got this idea, I think from Zacchaeus. Put the blade cover on, see where that hole's at, mark it, drill a hole through it, and then I have these really cool zip ties. My neighbor gave me these, so check these out. So here's some sheet. So zip ties are awesome, you know, use them all the time. But you get one use out of them, you throw them off like these. These little bitty zip ties. So you use it. It works really cool, but now you gotta throw it away. Useless. But not with these. Check these out. So you put them together. See that little button down there? Right there? You just press on it and you can reuse these. They're so nice. He has a huge package of them, a bunch of different sizes. I actually use them on my motorcycle a lot to hold stuff on when I was, you know, I couldn't fit it in the saddlebags. So I'd keep a bunch of these in there and I would use them because they're reusable. So yeah, get you some of these. These things are sick. But yeah, I just use this to keep my blade cover on every time, because this is poking out the back. The wind it flies off. You don't want to have this not on here, because what happens is you get some idiot that walks by, me most of the time, and you hit yourself, you run into this, and it cuts you. So definitely good to keep the blade cover on it while it's poking out the back of your vehicle. And then find where that hole's at. Stick the zip tie through. Hook it up. So I don't know why I'm doing that. I gotta get this out. Alright, so. I can actually get back to what I was doing. Okay. Let me move you guys close so we can actually tell. Alright, so what's everybody been up to? Oh yeah, I turned 41 the other day. Yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah. So, yesterday was my birthday. Finally, fully a 40s guy. Like, I thought I was 40 when I turned 39, which was really awesome. I loved it because I thought I was actually older, and then I was actually 39 that year, and I thought I was turning 40, so that was awesome. I got a year back. But then this year I was thinking I was 41 already, so I was really bummed on it. And turns out I'm only 40, and I just turned 41. So thank you. Doc, what's going on? Oh, and a reminder to anybody, the best way to support the channel is to join the memberships. Like, I'm putting up content on the regular there, and you'll see a lot of the normal content that comes onto the channel will premiere on the memberships a lot of times beforehand. Plus, there's a lot of like special content that I'm doing on there that we're starting to get a little library together finally. And when we get enough people over there, we're going to do some live feeds and stuff. So just wanted to shout out Ground Pounder, my brother, and Jay. Well, I guess you could say all three of my brothers. So yeah, if you're looking to support the channel, that's the best way. Unless you just want to super chat me tons of money, which is, I guess if you want to do that, that would be nice. Then I could stay home and not have to go out and freeze to death. Oh wow, yeah, look at this. Hang on. That's getting ready to. Look at how full this is. And it was so cold. William, what's going on, brother? It was so cold, so everything was just freezing up on it. Like, that's a block right there. So I had, what I had was a big oak tree. I put a short out just a little bit ago to show you guys. But that's what I was working on yesterday. No, not yesterday. I didn't leave yesterday. Today I went there by myself and did what I could do and got a really good jump onto it. So hopefully tomorrow ends up being easy because of it. Man, look at all that. That's crazy. What am I doing? It's called being lazy. You know, and end up burning the clutch up on this saw, all because I didn't clean this out. Like, that's stupid. I call myself lazy, but at times I just feel like I try to do too many things. I got too many irons in the fire, doing too much. So I neglect my own stuff nonstop. which I guess it happens. I'm probably not the only one that happens with. Only one, let the only one. All right. So let's start. Oh man, jeez. I mean, I was wondering. It was sounding like it just wasn't running anymore. Didn't sound good, and that makes absolute sense now that I'm seeing this. Good Lord. I don't know what I'm thinking. This all needs to be cleaned. So yeah, this week I found a couple new channels too to talk about. So I think I should probably just go get my notes from right there. Or no, they're right there. And we just go through it as I clean this. That way I'm not like not interacting. But I'll show you the things that you always should do too for anybody who's curious. Like, these are the typical things that you should do with all your saws, because you'll get to cutting with them and you're like, well, my oiler, it's oiling. Well, not necessarily. You could be clogged in the bar, and then your oiler's really not doing anything. It's putting out oil, but it's just dripping out the bottom of the saw, and that's because you get too much gunk up in the actual bar of your saw. So there is a little tool. Everybody gets one of these. You know, it's your death for your dogs on it, your guides. Mine gave me pretty much brand new. Oh wow. That's sick. Yeah, I just the other day I was sitting here and my neighbor came in. So this tool, you use it to clean the ditches out. That's what that little hook thing is for. So yeah, I was sitting here in my backyard and I was taking the snow shovel around because the day before my birthday, I went out and shoveled everybody's driveway around me. Or no, maybe that was on my birthday. Yeah, on my birthday I went out and I was gonna go shovel everyone's driveway. I was shoveling here. Well, the few days before that's when we got the ice, and I went and I cleaned. I have an elderly woman that lives up above me, and then my neighbor here is handicapped. He's got a wheelchair, so I try to go over and help them. And then we get all this snow, which is 10 more inches on top of what we already have of ice, which we didn't need this. This is crazy. Now it's disgusting everywhere. All the trees are breaking. Like, everyone's yards look worse than it did when the tornadoes came by. So it's just been chaos. But I'm sitting here and I look over and my neighbor has a new little Kia Soul. The one that's got the gerbils in the commercial. That's all I can ever see when I see those cars. But he came cruising in and missed his driveway and drove straight through his mailbox, and then he was stuck. And I'm like, oh man, like, on my birthday, I was not. I'm like, hey, I tell you what, give me a second. Let me try something, because his driveway everyone's stuff was just crazy. Well, it turns out I have a snowblower that someone gave me, a customer, like a really good people that I would go all the way to city just to clean their leaves. They're like a family friend. They gave me a snowblower. It was electric, but whatever. So I didn't think it actually worked. I thought he gave it to me because it didn't work. So I'm like, I never tried it. Well, yesterday I pulled that thing out and was able to like do 3 different driveways in like about 30 minutes. And which was nice, because the few days before that when we got the ice, I threw my back out trying to go around and help everybody with a little shovel beating out ice. So yeah, snowblower is pretty sick. It's just, dude, it works so good. It blew my mind how good it worked. It's an electric one. So there's like this huge extension cord wrapped up all on it. It looked chaotic. The extension cord had a cut in it to where it's been taped together. So I'm like, there's no way this thing works. Well, in Missouri, we don't get snow, really. We get ice. Normally, that's what we're getting, if we get anything. So when we got the ice at first, that wasn't a big surprise to me. That's normal. But then we got a bunch, it was a ton of ice to where everything was failing. And then afterwards, we get about 10 inches of snow on top of everything. So, yeah, it worked really good in the snow, the loose snow. It just worked amazing. So, yeah, the more thumbs up, the better. Definitely would one day like to make YouTube at least lucrative to the point that it doesn't cost me money. That's the dream. So join the memberships so I can stop being mad at YouTube. Alright, I don't want to like spot clean this. It's just going to get dirty again, but here's another tip. I don't care what saw it is that you have. You gotta keep the oil cleaned or the sawdust cleaned from around where your oil cap's at. Because I don't care what kind of saw it is, especially steel, when you go to take the cap off, you lay the cap on the side. If there's a bunch of sawdust caked up all right there, it sticks to the cap, you put it back in, now your oiler's clogged. So I wish I lived in the country, William. I wish, dude. I've grown up in the country my whole life, and this is hard to deal with, dude. It really is. I'm doing my best having neighbors, but it's definitely not my style. So, let's see. Alright, we'll start this week off with Brandon from Brandon Rusty's Tree Care. He, dang, see the clutch feels like frozen up a bit. I could hear it the way it was working. There, it's starting to free up some. Man, it was packed in there. So Brandon, the channel's called Brandon Rusty's Tree Care. He recorded a video, but I was looking, and I think the video should have done way better. And I checked the numbers for him on the video because it threw up a red flag with the title. So for any of my creators, like that, if you also make content out there and your title in your videos, when you title it with the word died, dead, like killed, that there's certain like keywords that YouTube will basically flag it. So normally I get notified. I get my subscription notifications. And then if for some reason I was to miss someone's video, oftentimes YouTube will suggest it to me in my normal, feed. So, but I noticed that this one, it didn't suggest to me. And I had watched everything at one point, so it was really weird. So it was almost last week, right after we finished the live feed, he put the video out. And I just feel like it didn't do the best numbers because of the way he titled it. So Brandon, just a heads up, watch out for those. And it really sucks for us tree guys because a lot of times we're doing a tree where it's a dead tree. So you're going to call it a dead tree. So you put that in your title, then all of a sudden YouTube flags your video and it doesn't get pushed. So, Dan, what's going on, brother? Just trying to get my pole saw running again. Actually, this, I didn't actually pay for this. I have a very cheap pole saw that I bought. It's a stationary 12-footer that is pretty nice. It's like all I felt like I really needed. So my brother actually gave me this to use, and it's a very, very nice tool. It's got all that power, which normally if I'm doing like pruning stuff, I want that 1/4-inch pico chain, but the 3/8 is where it's at if you find yourself having to cut any kind of wood. So that's what on this one that I found myself in, where I have to cut a bunch of wood from this tree. So they had this back area where it kind of low lies for a little bit, and it holds a bunch of water. So the place is beautiful. As you come in, there's 2 lakes, and there's a blacktop driveway that weaves in between them. So just as soon as you get there, it's just unreal beautiful. Not to mention, as bad as it is and how like I hate it, man, it is beautiful outside with all these trees covered in ice and have snow on them, and you get some of the footage from this day is just unreal. So can't wait to get that stuff out to you guys as soon as I can get caught up. I just keep getting further and further and further behind with my editing, so I don't know if I'll ever get caught up. But eventually I'll make my way to that footage and you guys will see it. But my luck, it'll probably be summertime and all nice and shiny outside, and then you'll see this snow covered videos. Fluffy, shoot. I'm sorry, I missed it. Please, please, please. Please, please, please help. I'm a woman? People say I'm not a woman. What do I do? Let's see. Tell them to like, I don't know, don't do that. I'm about to get a YouTube strike. I gotta stop. Yeah. I kind of felt like you were trolling me, and my instinct is to instantly want to troll you back, but I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna get in trouble or something stupid. You should, if you're a woman, you're a woman. That just is what it is. Like, you just tell them, like, you know what? If someone walked up to me and was like, "You're not a dude," I'd be like, okay. I think that's the biggest thing people need is like to stop caring so much about what everyone else says. I run into people on the daily that are living so far out of their means, trying to keep up with the person next to them or a family member, that it's just unreal. I'm from Germany still. It's a good. Yes, it's my favorite. It is my favorite. Double tap that screen. Yes. Yeah, that's awesome, Mund. Welcome, brother. I appreciate you. So I need to put a little bit of an edge on this thing too. But man, I hate sharpening a pole saw. It is never fun. Not to mention I gotta find the damn file. Yeah, Germany school. Oh, there it is. Dang. I was in there searching for it, and then I run into it. Let's see. I think those are the same. I should have. I have like a certain angle that I put a saw at when I sharpen it, and a pole saw doesn't allow for that, and I don't like it. So I feel like I never fully get it as sharp as I could a regular chain, but we're gonna try. So with your saws, if you're somebody who isn't incredibly familiar with them. You just have to make sure that you got your chain to where it's like you could have the sharpest teeth. Like if you sharpened it and you went and checked everything, and you're like, no, it's super sharp, but it's still not cut. Well, there's a reason that you only sharpen that top plate, and that top plate is so skinny. It's only like, it's so itty bitty that actually catches and takes a chunk of wood off. So if you think about that, that part is so skinny that's doing all that work, so thin, and the wood's not hitting the rest of that big piece of tooth. It's only hitting that top edge most of the time. So and a little bit on but it's hitting the top edge. And the reason it doesn't completely knock the tooth totally off is because it's got a guide in front of it. That little hook thing, it's in front of the tooth that you're sharpening, is a guide, and it tells like the wood how much contact or how much of the actual tooth that it's going to contact. So it makes it bump up to where it only hits the edge. Without this, without that little hook, that guide, those are going to slam into the wood every time and stop. Those keep it from taking too much of a bite. So if you sharpen your saw, you get it super, super sharp, you're so good at sharp, but you don't make sure that your guides are all right, it's not going to work. Like, you have to have those guides in the right spot, and that's where you would use this little thing here. It's got this little dip down area right here, and that's where you'll take it, you'll put it onto the tooth, pull it back to it, and then you'll take a flat file and you'll file to make sure that you're just getting enough of the tooth. If you just blindly do it, that's where you'll see guys and their saws bite really, really hard, and they like get stuck all the time. That's because their guides are off. Sometimes it blows my mind how many people show up here, and it's very, very humbling. So, but yeah, I think some people just don't realize that part. As long as you get your actual chainsaw tooth on the chain sharp, and then make sure for sure you got your guides all right, you're gonna have a good chain. Like, but if this isn't allowing it, it will physically keep it from hitting the tooth altogether. Now, most people don't realize that when you go buy a chainsaw as a homeowner, you're gonna get what's called a safety chain on it. And to a professional, those things are very, very, very aggravating. Now, if you've ever been in the middle of cutting something, and you know you have a good chain, but all of a sudden it's like, it's not cutting, it's like, seems like it's in a bind, it's not doing anything. Well, those safety chains are designed to, after it skips the tooth once, it will repeatedly skip it until you throttle it down and allow it to bite again. So I hate those safety chains. They're designed to keep kickback from the saw coming and kicking back into your face, or towards your body or body part. So I think it's smart. It's a smart design, but I personally hate it. It gets me in situations where I need to make a cut at a certain time, at a certain speed, and if I can't because I get into that bind, it's very aggravating. I can get hurt, things can get broke, so it's a bummer. But when around where I'm at, you can look all you want, but it's almost impossible to find a top handle chain, which for like a 201, a 200, and find it that's to where it's not a safety chain. So I had to come up with little weird ways of like modifying the safety chain a bit, which I'm not talking about on here. to get it to work. But yeah, that's one thing you got to remember. We showed right before this that you gotta take the bar off and dig that ditch in the bar out, because what happens is your chain gets a little dull at some points, okay? So then you start, instead of throwing out a chip, you're actually just throwing out like a little, like, fine dust. And that dust just easily, it doesn't take it long at all, it starts to pack itself into the bar. And with that fine dust and a little bit of oil, it makes like a paste, and it will clog it up like concrete. So you have to remember every once in a while, take your depth gauge here out. It's got that little ditch digger thing there, that little hook, and get down in there and clean those. Also make sure the little hole in the side. Oh, this whole time I could be showing you. See, that was a safety chain when that happened. Safety chain pinched up, like stopped running, and I wanted the cut too small. It pinched down on my saw and tried to rip my 200 out of my hand, and it may have actually, I don't remember. I think I just meant the bar though. But every saw's got these little, I think these are club. So you see the main hole here where your studs go in? There's your oiler hole. You got to unclog that, and you got to dig this ditch here out, and make sure that you don't have like this. I bet you this thing's got tons in it. Yeah. See? Like it's got a good concrete, almost just, ugh. Yeah, it's nasty. So if that's not cleaned out, you're not oiling your chain while you're using it. So you gotta take a few extra steps sometimes. Also, you often will have to file down as you take your bar, turn it on its side, and you feel the edge. It'll start to get a lip right here. What's up, Jay? How are you, brother? It'll start to get a lip right there. And if you feel that with your finger, you need to file that down flat, and then also make sure that's flat. So what happens is when that swells out from you leaving your chain loose, it'll swell out, it'll start to mushroom, and as you go into the cut, your chain is making a cut that would normally work with this bar, but the bar is now mushroomed out right here. So it's making a cut, but the bar is fighting the whole way as the chain's going through. So that's why you got to get that edge down, so that your chain is making a cut that is the same diameter as your bar, and then it'll pass through the wood real nice. But if one's fatter than the other, especially chain to bar, then it fights the whole way. The chain cuts out a little notch into it, but the bar is wider than that, so it's fighting through the cut the whole time. So you gotta, I believe they call that dressing the bar, but yeah, you just gotta follow it down. That's what I say. We are stuck at 11. I like turtles. I'm doing good, thanks. How are you doing? I'm doing all right, brother. I turned 41 the other day. Yesterday. Is today the 11th? Today the 11th, I think. I've been told I should make some videos. I'm getting into a lot of dumb shit. We can definitely, William, make some. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So let me. Damn, I need to file that other side. Yeah, I have to. And I need to knock the guides down too. So, alright, so the first channel I talked about was Brandon Rusty's Tree Care. Watch what you put as your titles, because if you put the word dead or something like that in it, even though we deal with almost non-stop dead trees, you can't use that because YouTube will stunt the growth of the video and really slow it down. It won't get referred to people, so yeah, you gotta watch that. So just a heads up, Brandon, I think your video would have done much better, but that maybe being in the title may have hurt it a little bit. So I love, yeah, hey, if you get if you get entertained or you learn something on this, at some point, if you don't mind hitting that thumb button, that would do me some good. Even like the way I look at it, you don't even have to subscribe. If you're if you run in and you watch a video once. Now, if you're a person who comes in and watches videos on the regular and you don't subscribe, that's kind of like, okay, I don't know if this is like this where you guys are at, but every now and then out in the country, there will be a little produce stand, or there will be like a honey stand where they sell honey and stuff. So it's on the honor system. You come up, you take what you want, and you put the money in the little container, and that's it. Same way, like if you used to walk through Walmart, they used to have the candy, and you could grab a piece of candy and you take a quarter and you put it in the little thing, and you could eat as much candy as you want. Now, if you watch my stuff all the time and you don't subscribe, that's kind of like stealing candy, like, or produce. That's kind of what I look at it as. It doesn't cost you anything, so at some point you're only not subscribing because you just don't like. I don't know. I have talked to some people that are straight, just honest people, and they said, a guy said, I don't want that dude to know that I watch his stuff. And I'm like, are you serious? It's like, it's that deep? And he's like, yeah, I just don't, even though I watch his stuff, I don't much like him. And I'm like, no way. So some people maybe do it out of insecurity. I don't really know. This is not going to work. What am I doing? All right, so I got to follow this side of the damn thing real quick. Let me see if I can move you guys there. This is stupid. All right, so next channel from this week is another good one, and it's the Saw Bandits. So these guys, what's up, James? So these guys are from, my bad, guys. These guys are from Australia, and more tree guys. He's a character. Like, I really enjoy their stuff. So I don't get to see him do a lot of complicated stuff. It seems like a lot of their stuff is on the smaller side most of the time. But man, he got into some really good ones here recently. And I just watched a video that he put out where he did some crane work. And he also put out a video talking about this little chainsaw, a little top handle saw that was very cheap. And tested it to see if it would be like a viable, saw to where you could, a professional person could use it and it would work. And you have to go over to his channel. Are you seeing this? Oh, yeah, you got to go over to his channel to see that and find out, what his thoughts and stuff were. But, yeah, very entertaining fellas that are from somewhere else. So if you want to see how they do things in Australia, I believe that's where he's from. I hope I'm not wrong. But go check him out. That's Saw Bandits. That's Saw, just the way Saw spelled, and Bandits, just the way Bandits is spelled. So I'm not going to spell it out. Just let autocorrect do it for you. Next channel is a really, really good tree guy named Peter Shea. Peter put out a really cool video, and I like those kinds of videos, especially from a lot of you guys that I've got close with. So, took the family out to the biggest McDonald's in the world, I think, and I just dig it. Like, I would suggest any of the guys in the same field, enjoy this times with your kid. Like, I know climbing trees and doing that kind of stuff, you can start to feel like a rock star at times, but the family stuff is the important stuff, and it's the stuff that I hope I didn't take advantage of. I hope that I took advantage of every opportunity, but at times I feel like my daughter grew up so quick, I question if I did. But yeah, go check out Peter's channel. Shay is spelled S-H-E-A. Peter spelled just the way Peter spelled. So next channel is Jeffrey Schroeder. Jeff is a former climber from August Honecke's crew. He's just an all-around really good tree guy. Jeff also made me this axe right here and sent it to me. Jeff makes axes, sells them, and also makes YouTube videos doing tree work. So Jeff, I noticed Jeff put out a video and he asked, why would someone watch my content and not subscribe? And he said he would like to know. And let me be clear, Jeff. If someone is too lazy to not push the button, they're also too lazy to write you a comment. So they're not going to comment and let you know why they're not going to subscribe. Some guys, I think, I don't know, maybe they feel insecure. Like, it's not a bad thing. There's been many channels that, okay, I can get up here. There's been many channels I've been subscribed to for a very long time. And out of the blue, I will randomly learn something from one of their videos. It happens. I've never felt less secure with myself because I learned something from another man. So I don't really get the guys that don't subscribe to channels, but they lurk them. That's just not my style. The only way you can support a YouTuber, and let me be clear, this is not easy, and it's insane if you can stay at it without absolutely burning your brain out. So anybody that's been around for a period of time, trust me, they've been mentally crushed more than 100 times by the way YouTube works, unless you just hit the lottery out of nowhere and your channel blows up. I think I've been doing it like 8 years. I've quit it 17 times, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's the community that's brought me back. So if it wasn't for that, I probably would have jetted out a long time ago. Handling business, grout powder. All right. So, yeah, go check Jeff's channel out. His channel, I probably don't even need to help push Jeff's channel. So that's one thing I do over here, is I will always try to pay it forward. Now, no one shouted my channel out. No one collabed with me to help me. There's been one guy that I collabed with, and I've never asked anybody to do that, but Human had followed my channel, and then we realized we were close, so we got together. It was kind of a mutual thing. Nobody asked the other one, and we didn't really, like, at the time I was just stoked to see him and have a day around him. So I've never had anybody shout my channel out, and I don't get where these guys, you've built a following, and every once in a while it wouldn't hurt for you to throw a bone to the next guy. Unless maybe some of these guys that their channels is really big, it came to them so easy that they just are like, he'll get it one day. I don't need to help. Yeah, whatever. I mean, if that's your mentality, so be it. I don't like it. So I try to do my best here. If you're ever looking for a YouTube channel, another tree YouTube channel that you want to watch, I'm always on these videos every week. I'm giving out recommendations. These are really good YouTube channels, either because they are very skilled or because they are pure entertainment and they are not skilled. So I'm going to give you both. That's how I found you. That's awesome, Dan. Really, that is awesome. Yeah, yeah. I just seen our video. Well, his video, because I was looking in my liked videos for something, and it turned out. I think it was around this time when we ended up working together, and it popped up in my stuff. I was like, ah. So it doesn't hurt to help somebody else, you know. I don't have a huge platform, but it's big enough that I do have people watching, and if I can help the next guy out a little bit, and because here's what I don't think most people realize. So YouTube, unless you're just using your phone and making YouTube shorts nonstop, you're having to edit these videos, whether you use your phone or a camera. You got to edit the videos. You got to make the video, edit the video, and then if you're using GoPros and cameras and giving extra, angles, and like there's so much work that goes into it. You got to keep it up. Like just the memory cards alone is insane expense for me. So I just don't think some people realize what all goes into these people and what they're doing to make the content for you. And you could show them some appreciation by hitting the thumb button, whether you say you like the video or don't like the video. All a person wants is for you to give a reaction. You don't have to, I don't even care. You don't have to like what I say. Like, maybe you don't. Maybe you hate it. Maybe you think I'm stupid. Well, okay, if you think I'm stupid, hit the thumb down button and give me a reaction. Because it would be nice for YouTube to actually push my channel. But I feel like we're never going to get there. I think I may have got off on the wrong foot with YouTube. And then I was very stubborn and bullheaded and thought, I'm going to have my opinion. My opinion is my opinion, and no one can do anything about it. Well, that worked when my channel was small. But now it's at that point where it's like teetering. Could this be something that I do long term? And like, it could make $1 one day? Or is it something that I'll just do for fun until I'm burnt out and I finally leave? So, that's just my 2 cents. That's just my 2 cents. So, while I'm knocking these guides down, let's talk about Guilty of Treeson put out a video. And it was a pretty good video. I think he labeled the video or titled it Taking Down a Tree with the Biggest Chainsaw in the World or something. And what they were doing is taking down a Douglas fir that and he finally got his Jake finally got his 880s back from Gordy. I think Gordy was using it to mock up some parts for 880s, but yeah, he sent it back to him, so now Jake has it, and he had him switch the apparently switch the sprocket on the end of the chain out. Oh no, I didn't realize that was up like that. And so now Jake's got it switched to the square grind that he likes, and they used it. Seemed like the saw was working pretty good. That's awesome when you get a big old saw to put into the list. We established that Randy is the Mandy. He needs to lay off the Cinnabon for a few days. He couldn't even fit in the saddle. It was Isaac's saddle. So Jake and the crew they're getting so many vehicles now that they're spread out, and their gear's spread out in between it, and then they end up forgetting gear or not having something, and that's kind of the reason I try to, like, I don't even, the thought of all that, having all that, doesn't even sound appealing. But I'm sure I'm the weird one. I'm sure everybody would love to have all that, but I just see all the problems that come with it. So, was there anything else? No, I think that was basically it for Guilty. But yeah, go check. I don't know why I'm even saying anything for that guy. He's got like millions of subscribers, which is crazy. But next one would be Veterans Tree. Is it Service or Care? Veterans Tree Service. So Tim put out a video, and I guess I'm gonna have to give him a citation. It's a minor. It's a misdemeanor. That's like, it's nothing too bad. William Lawn and Property Clearing. What's going on, William? So Tim put out a video, and it was 6 tree felling tips you must consider. And I just have to correct him. He asked 6 questions. So if we're being technical, it should have been titled 6 Tree Felling Questions You Must Answer Before Doing a Tree. Because every one of them things he went into, which he was saying is a tip, is a question that you got to answer along the way. So you got a tree, and it needs to, you're looking at it, and you're like, do I have to climb this thing, or could I fall it? Or for you guys that have a bucket truck, do I use the bucket truck, or could I just fall it? There's a few things you got to ask yourself. Just hack and slash. Every time you start your tool of wood, do you do like QAGB? So, first question is, will the tree fit? So if you're trying to decide, should I climb it or should I just fall it? Can you fall it? That's a good question to ask. Like, will it fit? So number 2 in his video was, can you gain command of the tree? Is the tree at such a lean or position that you can't bring it to the place that you want? Can you gain command of the tree? So that's something that's going to come with experience big time, but that's definitely a question that you start to ask yourself over time. Number 3 is, what are the above ground obstacles that you have to miss? A lot of times this is like flower beds, little trees, other trees, electric lines, phone lines, light poles, like cars, stuff like that, sidewalks. So his number 4 is there any below ground obstacles you got to watch out for? That'd be like sprinkler heads, irrigation systems, septics, stuff like that. And then number 5 was, will you damage the yard? So will the tree falling cause any damage? If a tree is pretty much straight up and down, when it falls, it lands on a flat, surface, lands flat. But if it's got limbs coming out all over the place, as those come down, they spear into the ground. So you got to watch out for that. Number 6 is it going to be faster? So, he was saying the reason he asked this question, because if he climbed the tree, the mess would be all at the base of the tree, and they'd have to drag it to the chipper. Well, he fell the tree at the chipper, so I feel like no matter what, it had to be faster. And he's saying, you're making a decision at that point. Do you want to clean the whole yard? So he says, as the tree falls, you're going to have more of a mess to clean up than if he stood there and pieced it out. And I don't know if it may be true, because you're going to drag the pieces that distance anyway and spread stuff all over the place. That's why I'm thinking maybe it doesn't really make a difference as far as the cleanup. It has to be faster because you're moving a bunch of it way closer than it would be from there. But yeah, that's his video. So go check out Tim over at Veterans Tree Service. Tim's got a very big channel too. August put out some videos. blue collarways. Is Yank here? Did I see that? Yank, what's up, brother? We have a minute or two. Have at it, Yank. Let's talk about it. Maybe I take all that. Yeah. Yeah, I think different guys are different. Like, I'm always. Here's what I think it comes from. When you become a YouTuber, the actual climbing aspect of it becomes a much longer, oftentimes more entertaining content as opposed to falling. And that's where I think guys get to where they're like, I'm just going to climb it, even though they could fall it. And you no matter what, you're going to get that guy in the comment section that's going to ask you why you didn't just fall it anyway. So you're going to have to answer that question no matter what. Where did I put my depth gauge? Am I losing my mind? I think I am. Okay. Have any of y'all seen the video Zacchaeus put out of him getting hit in the head with a piece of wood that literally, stabbed through the hard hat? Yep. That's what those sections are designed to do, is take that impact and jar. And actually, I think it couldn't have happened in a better spot for him, because you're able to get those pieces. Those are supposed to be replaced anyway. They're impact sections on a fair proto, and they're designed to do that. What they do is they take impact and they're designed to fall off. His absorbed the impact and kept it from going straight through and into his skull. I literally, oh my god, it's on it. Why didn't you guys tell me? Oh my god! Pimpin' Hose come through. Like, that is the awesomest name. So, thank you. My god. I'm over here struggling. Appreciate you. It's on the chain. I bet I was driving some of you crazy. Like, this idiot. How does he not see that? But thank you, Pimpin'. Thank you. Pimpin'. I see some guys who use a flat file like this and it drives me nuts. Protos are worth every penny. 100%. What's up, Thomas? The story was funny, but I feel bad for him. Yeah, so that's one of them things, like lingering at the stump a lot of times can be very, very sketchy. Now, if you're taking a tree and shoving it through other trees, you no longer just have your tree to pay attention to. If you're shoving it through any other trees, you got to get to looking around. I've had vines be connecting trees, and when they go, it comes down and smacks me. Hell yeah, Pimpin' says. I use an angle grinder. That's awesome, William. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Do it quick. I hate this depth gauge. I want one of them little, like, them ones like Billy uses, Billy Ray. He uses like a one that looks like a credit card, and that would be the ticket. I hate using this one because I just want to switch hands and go the other way, but the file works good one direction. Let's see, 30. What was that one? I try to remember. I think we had 47 before, and then before, I think it was 47. 47 or 49, something like that. But that was the craziest live feed we've ever done. That blew my mind. yeah, when we're done here, go check out Ground Pounder's channel. He's the guy that reminds all you guys to put the thumbs up. And if you like interacting and doing live feeds, Ground Pounder does live feeds non-stop. You're always going to be able to catch him and interact with him. Where most YouTubers, they rarely do live feeds because you have to, I mean, if you notice, some of the biggest channels out there, they don't really care to interact with you. A lot of times, if you leave a comment for them, it's not even them answering it. It's someone else answering your comment. So that's where it bums me out when I see people don't subscribe to the smaller YouTubers. So, you bored? That's why? You're funny. So, who's next? Oh yeah, August. So, August Haneke, one of the guys that kind of got me into making videos. August is always putting out content. He's got all the Monkey Beaver stuff over there that they do at monkeybeaver.com. Also, I hate to say it, like, at first I thought I don't like crane videos where cranes are used. But then there are certain guys that I don't know, maybe I'm just an old head. I feel burnt out on the crane videos. I just remember the good old days when there was a rigging job where August would rig down, I don't know. Those are the videos that I really like. That's the things I like about tree work, is the rigging and stuff. And they just don't do that anymore. They just do crane jobs, or you'll see the speed line nonstop. But it doesn't usually go past that. I miss that stuff a lot. But, you know, he's trying to run a legit business over there. He's not just trying to make YouTube videos, and I have to remember that. But the old subscriber in me is like, I want to see the old stuff. So I find myself going back and watching his old videos often. Those were the edits I enjoyed the most too. I think I may be done. I can just talk with you guys now. I think I am. Come on, it's off. I must have totally missed this one. Good Lord. Yeah, see your tooth on every tooth, it actually goes back in an angle. So the more you take off of it, the shorter the tooth gets. So then the shorter the guide has to be for it to actually do what it's supposed to do. So you got to do the guide work if you want your chain to cut right. So now let's hook this thing back up so that it's all hooked up and ready to go into the back of the truck, and I won't lose my blade cover out the back when the wind catches it. Oh, that's not the right one. I'm glad to be done with that. Now I can just talk with you guys. I had to do that. I apologize for you guys having to sit through all that, but that I had to do it. I had to get it done. And go get some reusable zip ties. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Order a bunch of them. They're insane. They're so good. It's such an easy release. You just push that button. So. See my safe block? So I bought this as a gag. At the time I was in the middle of I was conversating back and forth with David Driver, which is the guy who created the X-rings, and I tagged him and took a picture of this and got up really close from the back and was like, looks like somebody already one-upped you. and put this out because he was just coming out with the safe block and it was becoming popular. And he's like, "What the hell is that?" Instantly, it kind of spazzed him out, and I played it off for a little while before I finally told him. I don't even know what it is. I think it's for like roof work or something. You could run your rope through it and tie a knot in your rope and it'll stop. So, but I have used it to rig some stuff. You just connect a strap to that point and then weave your rope through. Problem is, it's very skinny, and I don't like that. But probably use it for a rigging hub to make a trolley. You could put a pulley on each end. It'll work for a good center brace for a trolley. Look at that 880 GP. Let me see what Yank just said. Last Sunday we got snow, then it turned to ice, then another several inches. Last few days, yeah, Yank, it's nasty here, man. It is unreal. I just put a YouTube short out, but I showed it after I basically cleaned. I showed up and the tree uprooted from the ice, but then right after that, 2 days after I looked at it, maybe it was the next day, we got 10 inches of snow on top of everything. So it was a bit chaotic and nasty. So it was really fun to be climbing around on a metal roof today that was covered in 10 inches of snow and ice. When I would start to go down to the flat part, I would build up so much speed, I started to slide, and I had like waders on. Not fun. Not fun at all. Very sketchy. What do you want to do? A live collaboration. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do one with you here, Jay. We'll have to have you on and let me interview you and go through some questions. So I'll have to do that. Yeah, it's nasty, Yank. It's really, really bad. So I'm gonna run back here tomorrow. I tell you what I'm gonna do, just for the fun of doing it, and because no one else, I don't see anyone else that even owns one. I'm gonna use the aerial friction brake on this. It's a really, really, really a good tool for this application here. So what it is it's a bollard or like a bollard and a pulley put together. Yeah, that'd be sick. Right on, Jay. Definitely gonna have to. Yeah, maybe we do its own day instead of even doing it like this. Maybe I do a midweek one or something, or we'll see. I'll give everybody heads up, and because Jay does a lot of stuff, so I think it'll be a good one. All right, do we get turtley now? I mean, I think we should. I mean, we got 21 thumbs. Let's see how many thumbs down I can get now. So he's at it again over there. Like Steve at Metal and Wood, I feel like he almost acknowledged me, which he's trying his best not to. But he won't answer me. He won't acknowledge me. I think I've offended him, and I don't know what I did, but we start the squad car up, and we're headed this direction right now. The call came over the radio, and we got to get this dude taken care of. It was probably poor rigging. My NGP. Founder, you're funny. So, Steve puts out a video. He says, he does this weird way of spelling stuff. Am I effed up in my position? And it's the saga of this Jacques guy. And apparently Jacques is from... What's the blue line? So Jacques is from South Africa. Or no, he's not from... I think he's from Minnesota. Steve sold him some chainsaws. Steve's got the greatest chainsaws in the world. So he starts this video out, and apparently him and Jock aren't seeing eye to eye right now. Isn't that weird? Well, he also admits to her that he recorded a 7-minute video and then must have deleted it because he didn't upload it. But he starts this video out saying, alright, the last video was 7 minutes. Let's see if we can do better than that. So he says, Jock bought some sauce. Yank, we'll catch you next time, brother. Appreciate you. Jock bought some saws. He bought himself a 660 and he bought himself a 381 and took them to South Africa with him to do some work. As he got there, the 660 no longer oils. The 381 won't start and is burnt up. So Steve is asking, should he have to replace the stuff? The first thing he says is, oh, he got these saws from a factory, from a different factory than the one that I'm using right now. So I don't know what he meant by that. Because Steve, if you're gonna go take junk from China and pass it off as quality merchandise, then your goofy ass needs to stand behind it. I don't care what factory it came from. I don't care how much they cared when they put it together or didn't care. You sold it as a quality product. So you should stand behind it, any of them that you've sold, because I don't think the guy did like anything wrong here. Steve should make it right. He gave him some junk saws, in my opinion. So Steve does offer to send him parts and stuff, but he won't pay for shipping. He wants this guy to pay for shipping, and he won't. So they're having a disagreement somehow. I don't even know what's going on. Sounds like he's asking for everyone to give him an okay to just basically say, forget Jock, let's move on. But Jock is saying, you can't go on your channel anymore talking about how you treat people right and you do people right and you sell good stuff if you don't take care of this for me. So I don't know what he's doing. My opinion, stand behind your junk, dude. So this little thing where he says where he gets into something that he doesn't know, and his way of getting out of it is to say this little saying where he says, we will know where we're at when we get there. So if for those people that don't know, that means I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All right? So just a heads up, when he says that every time, that means I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. He right after this, after saying that stupid line, which goes right through me every time he says it, he then says, I've only had one dude have a problem. And he says, this guy just called me the other day, and he's talking to me about a saw that he bought a year ago. What? Hold up. Like, pause. Called you the other day. Bought the saw a year ago. Which one is it? Sounds like the same damn story he's told 20,000 times over on the channel about this guy who put the saw in his truck and the oil poured out. And then that's exactly what he was talking about. I was right. I knew I was right. So he says the dude just called him. So then we can establish right there. Doesn't take long. We can instantly establish, oh, you're a liar. You like to lie. You have no problem fibbing. So he says that's the only guy that's ever had any problem. And the reason that guy had a problem with the saw and why his saw wouldn't start. Hang on. I've got my paper and a pen right here. Get yours. I'm about to tell you why your saw possibly may not run and start. Are you ready? You ready? Yeah. Okay. Oh, and there's one person still getting a pen. You got it now? Okay. All right. Sharpen the chain. I don't know. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think I don't know. Let me think for a second. I've used a lot of chainsaws. Did it? I had a dull chain one time and was going to use it, but mine started. So I don't think that works. So just that's just sharpen your chain. If the saw won't start, sharpen it first and then see. So okay, sharpen the chain. That's why the saw won't start. So apparently he says that he at one point traded Jock one saw for a ported saw, and that saw also burnt up. So it just sounds like to me Steve doesn't want to honor his saws for Jacques. And he's got some really goofy ass followers over there. I mean, some silly ass people that don't got a lick of sense to them, ain't done anything. That if you're a male and you're over there, you need to get out more often. If this is the guy you're getting your information from, you're burnt. Like you have, there's no hope. This is not the guy to get manly information from. I'm not getting personal, but if all the saws burn up, man, you need to send the guy a saw that actually works. So it doesn't matter that this has taken a year for this all to happen, or if it took, you had to send him a saw in the middle there, and that saw also burnt up. You won't. You're saying they had a rubber problem. A rubber problem? Get out of here. Do you not wear one or what? Like, I don't think anyone tried to impregnate his oiler. So I don't know what Steve's talking about. Fix the guy's oiler so he's got a chainsaw that actually works. You call them pro-grade products. They are for professional use. Let me be clear. I'm just going to say it right now, and I shouldn't have to say it ever again. The only people that want to use, no, that's not true, because I kind of want to use one just so I could say I used it and then tell you how bad it actually is. But the only people that want a clown saw are clowns. So no, the man you're buying the chainsaw from, that you're giving your money to, and I'm not saying hard-earned money, because if you're going to give it to this knucklehead, it's hard for me to believe that it's hard-earned. I feel like you got it for free, so you're giving it away. Yeah, he calls them clown saws. In other words, he's a clown. If you want to join his circus, give him your money, and he'll give you this thing that may cut for a few minutes, or it may not. So, Steve is the 100% king of the clown saws, and he called himself this. Then he says that a commenter, Red Dad, what's going on, brother? He says a commenter recently just asked him why he doesn't sell real steel chainsaws, OEM products. No one asked you that, because you know what I did? I went back and looked at all your videos. And I checked the comment section on all your videos. And no one asked you that. But the word steel chainsaws is my comment. And I always leave comments. And you try to ignore them, but it tells me you were thinking about me. To the point that you randomly made up some lie about steel chainsaws in your video instead of just acknowledging me. I will stop poking at him if he comes on here and does an interview. But until then, I will not take a back step. So you want to buy one of his saws? These are the rules. These are the rules. All right? You want to buy one of his chainsaws? First rule, you got to treat it like a baby. No, that's weird, because he shoves it between his legs. No, that can't be number one. That can't be number one, especially for him. So let's just say you're not allowed to rev it up high. You can't throw. You gotta barely push any get a little bit. That's all you get to do. No more. So the reason you can only use half the throttle is because you will score the pistons on the saw. The reason they will score so easy and so quickly is because it's a very high quality product. And I absolutely hope that you understand sarcasm. That's what that was. It is not a quality product. That is the reason that it will score so quick and it's trash. So, also, you have to use, I don't know, by now he's probably saying you got to use like 8-to-1 oil. You got to put so much damn mix into your gas that you're fouling out plugs nonstop, and that gas is so oil rich there's no way it ever gets hot. So use 8-to-1, I think's what he says. That's a lot of damn mix though. And then you also get a whole fistful or bag full of extra parts. These aren't like accessory parts like you'll get when you buy a steel chainsaw. You'll get like glasses. Maybe you'll get, even with those other saws, you get the little jug. You'll get like a tool to work on them. No, these are the parts that are on the saw already that are going to crap out here in a few days. So you get a fistful of those too. So just a heads up, you get a bunch of parts, which are maybe fun to change out when they burn up. So no one ever gets stuck with a bad chainsaw from Steve, which is very funny because at the beginning of this we were talking about a guy that is about to get stuck with a bunch. He's been stuck with 2 bad saws for a long time. Then you switched him out on one and that one burnt up. So I don't know. One of the commenters let Steve know that, hey, if the tune isn't correct on the saw, you will burn the saw up. And Steve says, very good educational information. Okay. Well, Steve decided that he was going to watch a how did he say it? A tutorial. He did a tutorial, okay? He watched a tutorial. And while he's watching the tutorial, he got his little chainsaw screwdriver. So he's got a little chainsaw screwdriver, and now he's a tuner. He's tuning stuff now. Dude, you do good starting the damn thing. You don't need to be tuning those saws because they're burning up already. Like, you just admitted that that's an important thing with your saws. You need to never have one of these little screwdrivers. Ever. You should never have one of these. If you ever find yourself, and it ain't even one of these, this is a flathead. But he put out a video, and I swear to you, I watched him. It was 2 8-minute videos where he would cut for a second, and then he would take the chainsaw out. This is, I think this is this is one of the big bore 372s right here. He just keeps wing, wing, wing with the same, and it was running real good, real good. And then he was like, oh, chainsaw too loud. And he stick it in the hole, and then his fingers never moved. Like they're supposed to do this. You know what I'm talking about? When you do this stuff. Well, his didn't do that the first time. And I'm like, holy shit, he's trying to pretend like he's tuning something. He's like, record me. And, you know, when a kid gets a new toy or he learns how to ride a bike, Mom, come outside and record me. Come on. He makes his wife go out there or in Jawa. And he's like sticking it in there. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm tuning her. I'm tuning her real good right now. He didn't do nothing. And then I did watch, and he was messing with it. And he was turning. He may not have been all the way in on it. But he just wanted to make a video where it looked like he knew what he was doing. But the saw never sounded different, man. So that gives me a little worry because I think his Hilux carburetors don't tune. So I think it's something with like the diaphragm that's into those carbs. I don't really care. I watched Ninjawa tune one out completely. And as he was tuning it, it never changed. Like, and I think that those carburetors are so, like, cheap that they're set to a factory setting for a tune, and they're not tunable. That's the problem with them, I think. But you know, if you just want to look like you know what you're doing, it's good enough. You just gotta pretend like you're tuning something with your little screwdriver. So I gotta put my little screwdriver in here. I don't want to lose it. Okay, next, Treeson Bartleby. Treeson is hilarious. So if you're looking for some funny tree guy out there, like content to watch, check out Treeson. It's spelled tree, S-U-S, Treesus. Bartleby is B-A-R-T-L-E-B-Y. But yeah, Treeson is really funny. Check his channel out. Jay, right here, J306. One of my favorite dudes here. Puts out good content. Put out a video, fuel cell and battery box mock-up, and he's taking us along his journey with his coupe restoration, and it's just awesome, dude. The whole build. So it's been fun to watch. You guys got to check his channel out. What else is on your list? I got all kinds of stuff. Snappy. Other stuff. I order my stuff from Snappy Supplies. You should. What else is on your list? I try to support my local shop. Yeah, Bennett. Yeah, if you can, definitely. That's the way to do it, brother. Like most of us don't have one. I have one that's sort of, kind of, like an hour and a half drive away, and I do a lot with them. I try to, but there's been some companies that have helped me out. So yeah, if you can go local, do it. There's nothing like being able to walk into the store and look and touch and like hold what you're about to buy. You don't like. I hate mail order. I hate the internet. Like, I don't like that you can go out and yeah, check out Gap Arbor Supply. That's a good company. I hate that most people don't even go enjoy buying things anymore. That's weird to me. Everything, I want to go buy everything in person. I don't want to order it off the internet. So some yahoo can like come in and steal my card number, and not to mention, I don't know what I'm getting until it's here, and a lot of times it's wrong. So I'm not a fan. But to each their own. There's a YouTube channel with a lady who does mechanic work. The channel is called Chickanic. She's just good content. If you want to know anything about small engines, repairing them, working on them, she showed me a really cool thing in one of her videos that I didn't know, where they put these little fuel filters in generators. That's an additional filter, and a lot of people around me were probably wishing they knew that just a couple days ago, because like when the electric everything went out around us, I heard that it was going out. Ours hadn't yet. I got my generator out, got it running, and then my dad called and asked if he could borrow it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I still have electric right now, come get it. And then I was worried I was gonna have to call him all night long and be like, hey, can I get my my thing back? So I didn't have to, luckily. For the first time, we kept electric, which was awful nice. Bartlett Tree stuff, usually Gap, Ropemaster, Amazon. Innovations. Do ropes conduct electricity? They can. They can. They don't, like, especially if they have any moisture, and they can trap for just it. They can keep moisture inside the rope for a very, very, very long time. They're not supposed to, but if it does have any moisture trapped inside, even to the center core, it can. So, just something to always watch out for. Bennett, that was your comment I was answering. So. I'm going with solar power saws. That's sick. I remember I said in the last video, I'm going with electric cords. I'm going to be that YouTuber that just brings the longest electric cord to a job and just gets her done. So I have never once gotten arborist stuff from a brick and mortar. Really? Yeah, I didn't ever know about ordering from the internet and stuff. I just went to a place where they were repairing chippers one time, and my dad took me in there, and apparently that must have been where he got some of his stuff. But all my dad ever had was a rope with a clip on it, and a saddle and spikes. So it didn't need a whole lot back then, especially a hard hat, you know. So I got an interesting one for you guys. So I click on this video, and the video says tree climber's first day gone wrong. And I'm like, huh, well, that's interesting. I definitely want to watch this. I wonder what this is about. So the channel is called John Seaman. C is like the water sea with man on it. Seaman. John Seaman. So seems to run a pretty. I think he works for one of those JPCs, and is like a landscaper. Does pretty much everything when it comes to tree work. So any of you tree guys that are looking for a job out there and looking to kind of build a career, start a career, they seem like they have a really good company and they're looking for people right now. That's in North Carolina. They just had all the hurricanes and stuff go through, so they got tons of work. But the guy just seems very down to earth. He doesn't seem like he's playing a YouTube character. Just seems like it's him. But he got a climber who was new. He didn't know him, never met him, and the guy who recommended him didn't even show up for work that day. So the dude goes up the tree and cuts the top out, and he fast cut the top. It landed on his head and like jarred him as it went down. He got lucky, but yeah. So that'll happen if you're trying to like pull. A lot of times, if you're trying to, you got a tree that's got a lean to it, or a top that's got a lean in a certain direction, and you're trying to go against that lean. If you don't leave enough hinge, that's why you'll see some guys when they're doing that, they're cutting, and they'll leave the hinge fat until they get the tree committed to over center, then wing, and they'll bring the cut in. Because if you go to push and you don't have a wide enough hinge, you can, because of where you're pushing, a lot of times it's right above the cut, you can push the bottom of it out. The hinge can break and you can push the bottom out, and the top comes down onto your head is what ends up happening a lot of times. Or you make the fast cut and it comes down onto your head sometimes too. But the guy seemed like he did good when it come to falling the logs on the spar. But yeah, I don't know. The cut at top seemed a bit hairball. But yeah, if you want to find out how that guy does, or if he ends up hanging around, go check him out over at John Seaman. But yeah, they're like, you do a trial day, and then if they like you, they can put you on the crew possibly. They'll like help you maybe with moving there, and like not moving there, but housing and stuff. So seemed like a really, really cool company for any younger guy who's looking to start a career. Maybe you could do some tree climbing and stuff, and you guys just have to check it out for yourselves. But all my gear is from the net or J. That's awesome. I only order from Arbor Supplies. Same spurs. Okay. So Zacchaeus put out a video. It was pretty good. He showed all of his tools out of his truck, which is always a fun thing to go through. See what a guy takes to go do the stuff he does. So our last one for this week. How long have we been going? An hour and a half? Another video that I wasn't subscribed, but all of a sudden I see the video and I'm like, I gotta watch this. And the video was called Cutting a Dead Dangerous Tree. and then in quotation marks it says, should have called an expert. So this was from a YouTube channel called Hardworking Man, and he just seems like a very savvy kind of a guy, but he definitely doesn't have, he has chainsaw skills, but he does not have tree climbing skills at all. So at one point he has to climb this tree and put a rope into it. So he sets a ladder up and he uses deer climbing sticks and a deer hunting saddle to get up there and put the rope in. So as he gets up there and he goes to put the rope in, this is the things that I would hope people would think about before they go up into a tree. But I guess that's not always the case. Let me see, how could I explain this? Alright, I got you guys. This will work perfect. Ugh. Let's just bring a tree in. Oh my god. Ah. You guys still there? Damn, I took the whole screen up. Okay. You still there? You can see this tree? Alright, let's do this. So, he gets up there, and now he wants to tie a rope on the tree. I guess to show, I love the tree work, especially more technical, challenging jobs, very fulfilling. That's you're just like me then, Bennett. So, when you get to the tree, you need to have an anchor knot that's going to work up here. So, I guess for him, he wanted to show that he has tree climbing skills. Or, no, not even tree climbing skills. Just, most men know a couple good knots. And he needed to show that he knows how to tie a bowline. So, I'm going to show you how to tie a bowline real quick. So you take your rope, put a loop in it, okay? You take this, you go into the hole, over, around the back into the hole, and then I grab the top one always, and then dress like that so I don't lose a bunch of it. So that's a really nice little knot. It ends up coming out pretty easy. If you can, you try to tie you a little stopper knot in the end, or a figure eight some people use. I'm not doing that. I don't have enough. So would that work for a knot to go anchor your tree off? Is that what you would use? I'm so sick of all the clickbait YouTube shit. Yeah, I can understand that, brother. I'm trying my best to not do anything like that anymore. But at times, you just feel like you get the results when you do it. So I understand why people do it, which is aggravating. But so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to tie. I'm going to try to tie a bowline onto this. I'm going to move you guys back just a little bit, and I'm going to show you what he ended up doing. Alright. You got this. We're going to tie us a bowline on here. I don't even know if I can... Oh, yeah, I can. Okay, tie our bowline. We got our loop here. We just take our rope. We put it in the hole, around the back through the hole. I grab them two, I tighten them up, feel just down real good. You put it up there, and then, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna put it up here. What's going on? So the bowline's nice. It's really cool, but not the correct knot for this situation. You want a cinching knot, and that knot does not cinch. So you would use a running bowline in this situation. So lucky for me, this thing's not very tall. We'll just take this and go up like that. That's what we had. So I guess you could sit there and fiddle with that and get it to the right size and find a nub to put it onto. There's no sense in that. When you could tie a knot with a running bowline that cinches down right there. Now you have a knot that cinches down and bites onto the tree. That knot of just a normal bowline is never going to do that. So it's a very simple way to do it. What I did is I took the bowline there and you just put the loop through and turn it into a girth hitch onto it, okay? So you can tie that by hand, pretty simple. Now let me show you. For anybody that doesn't know, this is what he should have used. If you're going to use it to pull over a tree, you want to put the rope, try to get it as high up as you can. Not too high into stuff that's going to break, but I like to be over halfway always, because I want to be pulling and bending and causing like a flex into the tree so that the hinge works correctly. If I'm pulling down low closer to the hinge, I could pull the butt out from underneath it. I'm putting too much stress on the hinge, and it's not allowing it to do what it needs to do. So a running bowline is the same way you would tie this. You would just go around like your arm, and then you would make your loop here, go around. Now do what you do with a bowline. Tie it through. So then what you get is a running bowline, which is just a small little bowline there on a bite. So then it bites down. If I took that off, you still have the same thing. It's a I'm cutting out. So you still have the same thing. You have a little bowline here. My stuff is cutting out so bad now, guys. I think I'm about to end this. So here's the running bowline one more time. As we'll do it around the tree. So we go around. Now here, we only focus on this rope over here. Make a loop in it, take it, and capture that end. Then do what you do with a bowline. Now you have a bowline on a bite, and this will work to cinch down on the tree, and it won't slide down the tree like it will when you just put a normal bowline. So if I was pulling that direction, I'm going to try to get this knot over here, that way it bites and it's pulling. I wouldn't put it over here because it's, or over here if I'm pulling that direction, because you can get sliding. You want to pull to where it puts it into the bite, as opposed to if I'm pulling this way, the rope will move. So just little things to think about if you're ever pulling a tree over. Yeah, and your hinge is your friend. You cut too much of it, you've screwed yourself. If you put too much tension on the tree, you can take a very safe tree and make it very dangerous by putting too much tension on it with a vehicle or some kind of equipment. So, guys, I think I've rambled long enough. This video's lagging, cutting in and out like crazy. I want to say thank you to everybody who gave me a thumbs up, or if you gave me a thumbs down. I appreciate you. Once again, the best way to support the channel, join the memberships, new content there all the time, and we'll do some fun stuff over there too. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Have a enjoy the rest of your weekend, and make sure you have a really safe work week. I'm gonna go beat the rest of that oak tree on that shed up tomorrow. So wish me luck. Stay safe. And I will see you guys next time. Don't do anything silly on YouTube. unless you want me talking about you next week. See.